Hello everybody, this is Sébastien from Cupcake l'addition and I am back again on Cakeflix for the 4th episode of Cupcake, le web show. This year has passed so fast, I can't believe we are almost there. Autumn is the perfect time for a delightful stroll in the woods, enjoying the last beautiful days of the year, admiring the vibrant golds and reds of the leaves, hunting mushrooms. Well, certainly not on this family domain, young hooligan. Let yourself out instantly. Count and Countess Shroom are the owners of the land and they are really not amused. So forget about your omelette and learn with me how to model these crazy fall characters. Are you ready for this? Let's get started! For this cupcake project, we will need approximately 240 grams of white gum paste, from which I will prepare 100 grams of very pale beige, 20 grams of beige, 20 grams of terracotta, 30 grams of chestnut, 20 grams of pale red, orange and yellow. We will obtain those colors thanks to chestnut, yellow, red and ivory gel color. I will also keep 10 grams white and I will need 10 grams of black gum paste. I will also use a selection of Sugar Flare powder colors: Nutkin Brown, Chocolate, Terracotta, Ruby Red, Sunset Orange, Lemon Yellow, Moss Green, Wood Green. Remember, you can find the whole range at my sponsor, Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka. I will also need edible metallic paint, dark gold, edible glaze, white icing color, sugar pearls, cornstarch and of course 2 cupcakes and the icing of your choice. And now the tools I will need: a non-stick workboard, aluminum foil, parchment paper, a small rolling pin, skewers, a leaf silicone veiner, a pearl silicone mold, a leaf scrapbooking punch, cutting pliers, a selection of round piping tips, an X-Acto knife, a Fimo blade, a foam pad, a 6 cm round cutter, a 5 cm styrofoam bowl, ball tools, a Dresden tool, a cone tool, a water pen or fine brush and water, a rubber shaper, an old brush and a fine brush, a toothbrush, 4 big and 3 small blush brushes and some paper towel. And now some optional but very handy stuff I'm using in this video: plastic wrap, a paint palette, a very handy precision scale and my secret weapon, a wax picking pen. As usual in my videos, the first thing I want to make are the eyes, because I want to allow them to dry overnight, 24 hours at least, so that they can be hard enough to be manipulated, moved around, pushed inside the modelings without losing their shapes. As always, I am going to use this pearl silicone mold. Now you asked, these are really easy to find online. If you are in Sri Lanka, you can also get them from my sponsor, Bake It Yourself in Colombo. So the first thing I want to do is dust my mold, or dust the cavities I am going to use. Okay, with cornstarch. I want to use the 1, 2, 3, 4th and 5th cavities for this project. So I'm going to dust them very well, like so. Off camera, I am going to brush off the excess. There we go. Going to keep this because I will need it again. I'm going to take white gum paste. Knead very well the gum paste. And place 2 balls inside the 2 cavities I am going to use. With my ball tool, I am going to push the paste inside the cavities to make sure the shape is well achieved. I'm going to get my Fimo blade and cut the excess. I can push again in the cavities and I unmold my globes. Sometimes they need a little help. It's the case today. Okay, there we go. And I will need another of this shape, just one. Now I'm going to take mini ball tools because I am going to make holes where I will want my pupils to go. So I will want a big one here, more or less, a little off-centered. Okay, and a small one more or less in the same position, like so. And on the third one I will want exactly the same position. I'm going to take black gum paste. Knead my black gum paste very well. I will take my rolling pin with the thinner rings. I'm going to take a piece of plastic wrap and a piping tip number 4 and just cut circles here. It's just a trick to have the pupils all the same size. I'm going to take one of those little circles, roll it in my finger and place it in the cavity like this. And I want for the small eyes a little smaller, so I'm going to cut one of these in two, and I'm going to take my eyes and place the little balls in the cavities. One, okay, and the second one. Two, and there we have 3 eyes. And the last eye will be a monocle, so I'm going to take a little white gum paste, knead it pretty well, roll, and I will leave it here for the moment. I'm going to do the same with brown gum paste and last black gum paste. I'm going to take my rolling pin fitted with the thicker rings and I'm going to make a thick layer of brown. There we go, and I set it aside. I'm going to take off the thicker rings. I'm going to take the black and the white, and I will make 2 thin layers of black and of white. I'm going to take piping tip number 800. Okay, in the white I am going to make a hole. In the black I am going to make a little circle that I'm going to place in the hole I have just made. Now I'm going to take a little metallic dark gold, shake it well, okay, and I will just paint a thin layer of it on the brown paste. I will take edible glaze and an old brush, because this product is not very kind to brushes, and I'm going just to brush a thin layer here. I just want it to be shiny, and I will allow this to dry completely. And there we are back. We allowed both paint and glaze to harden completely, so I'm going to take now an 806 and an 804 piping tip. With the 804 I am going to make a hole right in the middle of the brown paste. Okay, like so. With my 804 again, I am going to cut a circle here on the white paste. I want the pupil to be a little off-centered. Okay, like so. Now I want to push my eye inside my modeling. And now with my 806, I want to cut around the eyeball. I want to be very precise here. Okay, before I push. Then I think we're good. And I cut. And I turn, and here it is. Now I'm just going to take a little brown paste. Okay, that I'm going to need. I'm going to roll a string. I think the size is the one I want. I'm going to cut a portion. Roll it again like this, and with the back of my blade I'm just going to indent the middle like this. Going to take a little bit of water here, and I'm going to place this little bit on the side. Now I'm going to take a little bit of parchment paper and place my monocle on it, and I will just want to add a little more paint around the monocle. So on the bit I have added here, like this, and on the sides that are not covered. And there we go, we have our cute monocle. So now the last thing I want to do is to make my point of light as usual. I'm going to use white color icing, mix it, just put a dash in my paint palette. And I'm going to take a mini ball tool, dip it inside my white icing color, and I'm going to make points of lights here, here, on this one too, and of course on the monocle. To put it here a little bigger. And there we go, we have our sets of eyeballs. Of course we need colorfullies for our autumn themed cupcakes, and we are going to make them right now because we need to let them harden and dry completely between the steps of our process. For the leaves I gave my gum paste lovely autumn shades, but I left them quite pale because we are going to dust everything. These are actually leftovers from my last tutorial Back to the Orchard Academy. If you missed it, you can still catch up on Cake Flicks. So now I'm going to take a little red paste, knead it very well, roll it into a nice and smooth ball, and I'm going to roll a very thin layer, as thin as I can, like so. I'm going to set it aside and repeat with the orange gum paste. And I set it aside. Now I'm going to take a little yellow, and again I will knead very well my paste. Okay, this thing should do the trick, and I set aside. Now I don't have a cutter small enough for leaves, so I'm resourceful and I'm going to use a scrapbooking leaf punch. I can take my gum paste, introduce it here, and punch leaves. How cool is that? I'll repeat with the orange. This trick is a lot easier if you allow your rolled gum paste to dry a little. And again with the yellow. And now I have cut my leaves. I am going to use a foam pad and a ball tool to make the edges very thin. So I'm just passing the ball tool all around the leaves. And now I'm going to take some foil that I'm going to crumple as much as I can and then open again. The idea is to take a veiner. This one is a veiner that I made myself with leaves from my garden. It's bigger than what I need, but I'm going to place my my leaves up there. And I'm going to press as much as I can, and I'll get a nice texture. And I'm going to allow it to dry in weird position on the foil. And I'm going to do this with all my leaves. Now these need to dry completely, so I'm going to set them aside and even put them inside my fruit dehydrator. We are back after our leaves spent the night in the fruit dehydrator. Don't they look cool already? Well, wait until we have them dusted. Speaking of dust, I have prepared a beautiful selection of autumn shades from Sugar Flare. Remember, the whole range is available at my sponsors Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka. So I've chosen a few browns like a dark nutkin brown, a chocolate, a terracotta. I've also chosen a dark red, a ruby red, a popping sunset orange, and I will also use a little moss green. So let me prepare all this and I'll be back. I am back. I have prepared a paper towel with my powder dust on it. I've prepared a selection of blush brushes I am going to use, and I've also sorted my leaves by color because I am not going to dust them the same way. So I want to begin with the yellow leaves. I want to give them an overall orange shade, but I will go a little darker on the edges, maybe with a little red, maybe up to some terracotta brown. I will want to mark a little the veins using browns, maybe not the darkest brown, but surely this one. And I will add some green shades here and there. So here we go. I'm going to use the biggest brush. I want to clean always very well the brush on my paper towel before I am going to begin to dust my leaves. Dusted all my yellow leaves. I'm going to go for the orange leaves. Now I want this one more in the red. Okay, so I will use a lot of red. I might not even use orange or green. It depends on the feeling. I will go for terracottas and I will want darker browns on them. Now I have finished to dust my orange leaves. I'm going to go for the red leaves. Now on these ones I will go heavy on the reds and even the terracottas, and I will darken them quite a lot with browns. I didn't even refill the orange or the green because I'm not going to use them on these ones. One of the last things I like to do is to eliminate any remaining dust with a clean brush. But hey, here's our final result. How cool are our autumn leaves? And now we made beautiful leaves. Let's watch my wonderful sponsors commercial, Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Hi, this is Akira from Bake It Yourself, also known as DIY Lanka, your one-stop cake supply store and studio located in the heart of Colombo, Sri Lanka. We cater to bakers of all different levels. You can simply be a budding home baker or a world-renowned sugar artist. We've got you covered. We offer a range of high-quality ingredients and products from international distributors as well as local brands in Sri Lanka. DIY Studio is one of a kind. We offer a fully equipped studio with all amenities. We are the pioneers of hosting international artists. We have also hosted demos and workshops with local and international artists. We warmly welcome more artists to teach us the up and trending methods of sugarcraft. Drop into DIY Lanka to experience a truly magical world of a baker's heaven. Thank you.
And we are back to model the stems, or shall we call them bodies, of our unamused mushrooms. Let's get to it. We are going to begin with Countess Shroom's body, and for this we will need 40 grams of gum paste. This is not white gum paste, this is actually a very light beige. I obtained it with white gum paste and a dash of ivory gel color. So I'm going as usual to knead very well my gum paste. So we want to roll a very nice and smooth ball with no defects at all, like so. Countess Shroom is a boletus, so we will want to make him a little short and chubby, like a boletus. So for this we're going to make a kind of teardrop shape. I'm going to push it against the work surface. I want to make a boletus shape, which means white bottom and quite white top, but a little thinner. Going to do the contrary now. Okay, that's what we are aiming for. Now I want to take my Dresden tool and I'm going to texture a little my mushroom. Okay, making some kind of random lines from the bottom, not all the way up, just the bottom. We don't want them too deep either. We just want to make kind of texture, and we're going to do the same from top to bottom. And now I'm going to take the eye and the monocle I made earlier. I'm going to brush just a little water. I don't want to put them too high because I want to make eyebrows afterwards. So I think this height is about right. And I'm going to press my eyeballs and my monocle on my modeling. This is why it's important to allow it to dry, because you can push it inside your modeling without them to lose their shapes. So now what I will want to do, I'm going to put a skewer right through it, rolling it very cautiously. I'm going to take a little styrofoam. I put always a parchment paper on it so that I can prick my modeling there. And like this, I don't have it all the time in my hands. I don't stain it. It doesn't lose shape, and it's easier for me to work on it. So now I'm going to make the eyelid. I'm going to knead a little gum paste, the same I used for the body. Roll it into a nice and smooth ball, and with my rolling pin fitted with the thinner rings, I am going to make a thin layer like so. I am going to take an 803 piping tip, or if you have a cutter this size you can use it, and make a circle in it like so. With the same piping tip I am going to make a little moon like so. Okay, I will just put a tiny bit of water here, take my moon and place it. Okay, I can use my rubber shaper to help me. If I miss a little water, I can put it. There we go. I am going to make a bag under the eye. I'm just going to roll a tiny bit of gum paste, and I'm going to make a kind of sausage as usual with pointy ends. Okay, like this. I want it very thin on the sides and fatty in the middle. I'm going to place it under the eye. Okay. Same, I'm going to brush a little water here. And I'm going to begin with the side here in the middle and lead my eye bag all the way to the other side. Okay, I'm going to take my Dresden tool to push it in place. Okay, and when you like the way you've done it, you just indent. There you go. We're going to make him also a little belly button because I want, because I found it funny. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of gum paste. Okay, make a little ball here on the belly button, which will be, well, let's say here. I'm going to put a little water. I'm going to take my little ball and place it here, like so. I'm going to press it a little down. Okay. And with this tool that I don't know how it's called, I almost never use it, only use it when I make belly buttons, I'm going to press vertically in the middle. And we have a nice belly button. And now I'm going to take a little black gum paste that I am going to knead very well. And I am going to make a very thin sausage with pointy ends. And I'm going to place it on my modeling. Just going to brush water here around the eyelid. I am going to place first this part here in the middle of the eye, like so. And once I've placed this, I just have to push down to the hand on the other side. Okay, easy. With the same method, we're going to make eyebrows. so we will need them a little thicker, like so. So here are my eyebrows. I want it to go a little behind the monocle, okay? So I'm going to brush a little water here, and I am going to place it, okay, like so. And once it's placed, I'm just going to move it until I obtain the shape I want for my eyebrow. For the second one, we want Mr. Shroom to be a little unamused. Okay, so we're going to make an odd shape. Okay, a little like this. And I'm going to attach it on the modeling again. Here. Okay. And there we go. Countess Shroom looks really unamused, and that's exactly what we wanted. And to make him funnier, we're going to make him mustaches. So I will need 2 little balls of 0.25 grams, more or less. To roll it first into a ball and then into a very elongated teardrop shape with pretty pointy end. This is what we are aiming for. I'm going to make a second one. So again, nice ball and elongated teardrop shape, and look almost the same. So now I'm just going to press a little here, press a little here too. I'm going to roll here. We're going to finish shaping it on the modeling, but I want already to give it a the kind of shape I want. Just going to take a little water and brush it here and place the first part, press the second part here, and now we are going to play with the shapes. And there we are. For the arms, I'm going to need 2 very little balls of half a gram, and I want to roll it into a nice ball and then make a sausage . Okay, more or less like this. We weigh them so they are almost the same size. I'm going to take a ball tool and I want to press this end. Okay. I'm going to come with my blade and I am going to cut a triangle. Don't expect hands very detailed with me because I just want them to look like hands, but I want something very naive, very simple. With my Dresden tool, what I do want to make on both hands, here and here, I want to mark one here and one here, just to press a little, because it will make it easier for us to fold the hand. And I'm just going to make here a little thinner, just on the wrist. Here I am going to make this position on my modeling. Okay, I want to press here in the middle, like so. I'm going to mark here. I'm going to make the same opposite. So like this. Press here in the middle and fold the wrist this side. Okay, press here. There and there. And I'll finish to shape on the modeling directly. So I'm going to brush a little water on both sides, more or less the same height. So here, like this for this one, like this, here. Okay, we want to make him unamused, so we've attached the upper part of the arms and ends. I'm going to brush a little water here, and we're going to attach the lower part. Now. And there we go. He already looks quite unamused. What do you think? And really now it's time to shape the hands and place them in the position we want. And there we go. See, we didn't need anything really fancy for the hands. For Countess Shroom, the process is very similar, so I'll get through this quickly. I'll just point out the very few differences. This time we will start with 30 grams of the same very light beige gum paste. Countess Shroom is an Amanita, so we will shape her body much thinner and taller with a swollen base. If you're just joining the class, no, we are not making a bachelorette party cupcake. Don't forget the skewer. It was optional for her husband, but here it is compulsory if you don't want your modeling to collapse. Introduce it cautiously from the top, twisting it until it makes its way to the bottom. For the eyelids, we will use an 804 and an 805 piping tips. To achieve her blasé expression, we will just cut the circles in half and place them straight on the eyeballs, right at the top limit of the pupils. Of course, we will make our bags under the eyes, because hey, manage the family heritage is a lot of work. While with the Dresden tool we will create a mouth. We will press laterally with the thicker end of the tool to make an off-centered hole, and with the thinner hand we will indent the corner of the mouth. The eyelashes will be a little longer than the eyelids so that we can curve the outer edge. Hey, she's a lady. And we will carefully place the eyebrows to perfect her old schmuck look. And last, we will make the arms the exact same way we did and play with their position. I thought a very prude Queen Elizabeth position would be adequate. And now, while we allow our models to harden a little, let's watch a quick commercial.
Every house needs a strong foundation. I've teamed up with my former college tutor, Cecilia Young, to bring you over 25 years worth of knowledge and experience packed into this fantastic programme. Within these 8 individually assessed modules, we've covered the fundamental building blocks required to take your cake decorating skills to the next level. And that's not all. Each programme is accredited by FDQ, a leading UK organisation for the food industry. We look forward to welcoming you on the Cakeflix Master Programme.
And we are back for the oh so dreaded step, dusting. I remember I used to be very shy at using dusts. I thought after all the effort put in modeling I would ruin everything. But my friend Joanne from Mademoiselle Fedegato convinced me and I gave it a shot. And you should definitely do it. Who cares if you renew modeling? You did it once, you can do it again. But you will definitely take your cake skills to the next level. So let's do it. Right now I found my characters a little too white, a little too clean. I want to give Count and Countess Shroom a nice depth. I want to create some shadows. So for this I've prepared my blush brushes, a piece of paper towel with chocolate brown powder dust and a little darker nutkin brown powder dust. So let's get to it. What's great about the skewer is that I will be able to hold my modelings this way without touching it too much, and I will avoid any fingertips mark this way. This is a process where I need to be patient. Okay, so always deep in the dust and clean on my paper towel, and then with a circle motion I will dust the base. Okay, what I will want is a base quite dark and the center always a little lighter in color, and I will add some shades everywhere. A regular body has shades or a regular object has shades. Like so. You see that the indentations we made earlier are staying clearer, so that creates really a nice texture to our modeling. I'm going to do the same for the head. Again, you can see the indentations we made earlier are visible now. They're just popping. Okay, look, the nice effect. This looks really realistic. So what I can do with a smaller brush, I can go, for example, on the eyes here. Okay, I can go here under the eyebrows, or here. I can go here behind. I will definitely want some shades on the eye bag. Okay, like so. Try to avoid dusting the white of your eyes. That would be a pity. I can go a little under the mustache. Like this. And maybe on the belly button. Okay, I will do a little shades also on the arms. So maybe under the arms here. Here on the joint. Okay, on the hand, in the hand that is folded. and behind. There we go. I will do the same on the other hand. So on the joint, here in the middle, inside the hand, and then I will take again my big brush, clean it, and I will take darker color. Now this darker color, I'm just going to apply it on the base and on the top. I just want to darken this spot. There we go, and I will do it again also on the top. There we go. Doesn't it look much cuter than it was before? Look the difference. And we're going to do the same with our second modeling with Countess Shroom. And there we go. What do you think? Don't you think they are so much cuter than they were? Before we get to the next step of this episode, there are a few details I wanted to add to my mushrooms after dusting them, either because they are too fragile and would break under the first brush stroke, or because I wanted to avoid to stain them with the dusts. A last detail I want to add on Countess Shroom before I put his cap on is the chain of his monocle. For this I will take brown gum paste, the same I used for the frame of his monocle, and from this I will roll a very fine rope. Okay, you think this is fine? Well, it's not enough. You can proceed on the work surface, and I'm going to cut this in two, right in the middle. Roll it here. Put them together, okay, pick them up, and here we are going to roll. What we are making is a very fine rope. Okay, there we go, and we are going to attach it to our modeling. So I will take a little bit of water and just brush it here on top. This part will be hidden, and I attach this part here, okay, like so. And here, this is a tricky part. I will want to attach this end to this part, okay. I will add a little water here behind, and with my Dresden tool I'm going to lift the rope, curve it this way, and going to press here behind, like so. Okay, and I'm going to take a piece of paper towel, a little piece of paper towel. I'm going to try to roll it, and I will place it behind the chain and the body. So I'm just going to lift it with my Dresden tool, and place this paper towel behind, okay, like so, for two reasons. Because the chain will dry in this position and give an extra volume to our modeling, and secondly because we're going to paint it right now with gold metallic paint. So I will use metallic dark gold and a fine brush. I'll mix well. There it is. And very cautiously, because this is fragile, I'm going to paint the chain I just made. And there we go, we will leave this dry completely in this position. I also want to add a last detail to Countess Shroom. Ammonites have a kind of ring around their stem, and I want to make it look like a Victorian collar. I will take a little gum paste, white gum paste, okay, knead it very well as usual. I'm going to take my rolling pin with no rings on it, and I want to roll a pretty thin layer of white gum paste, but not too much. This will do the trick, okay? I'm going to take my Fimo blade and cut here, cut more or less this size. Okay, this should be enough. I'm going to recut here and cut here to have something clean. I'm going to take my foam pad, place my white string on it, and with my ball tool, the small one, I'm going to press here from the bottom, following here, with this motion exactly. Now with the point of the Dresden tool or any other tool, I will make holes so that it looks even more like lace. There we go. We have our lace. So here we are. Just brush a very small amount of water. Okay, very small. Like this. You take your lace and you place it in the front. Like this, okay? Now it's stuck in the front, we're going to make it go all the way to the back. Check that it's attached everywhere, and you can lift a little here. Make it pass behind the finger, but lift it here. Okay, and there we go. A very last detail I want to add is a brooch to Countess Shroom. So I'm going to take some sugar pearls. Actually, I want only one. I'm going to take a very little piece of brown gum paste. I want to roll a very tiny ball. I want to take a ball tool more or less the size of the pearl I'm going to use. I'm going to press in the center. I'm going to place it on a little piece of parchment paper, like this. I'm going to take my metallic dark gold and I'm going to paint this. With my magic tool I'm going to take my pearl and press it right in the center. Okay, like so. I am going to make a little hole with the same ball tool right where I will want the brooch, which is here. I'm going to brush a little bit of water here. So I take it with my magic tool and very cautiously I'm going to place it right where it belongs, which is here. And here we go, a very nice brooch. Whoa, we are almost finished and we will after this commercial. What's missing on our mushrooms? The caps, of course, or as we call them in French, les chapeaux, the hats. For Countess Shroom's cap, I will need half a 5 cm styrofoam ball. You can make it out of Rice Krispie if you want it edible. I will also need 15 grams of chestnut gum paste, okay, and 6 grams of beige gum paste. I will begin to knead my beige gum paste properly. I will roll it into a nice and smooth ball, like so. Now I could use a rolling pin for what I am going to do, but I want my mushrooms to be quite natural, to look realistic. So I'd rather make it with my fingers. I want textures, I want imperfections, so I decided to make it this way, but you can use a rolling pin if you want. So what I'm aiming at is a circle that will cover the base of my styrofoam ball. I will brush a little water underneath and press my paste here. I will push the paste up to the edges. Okay, just a bit more than the edges. Once it's like this, I'm going to smooth it a little. And I am going to take a toothbrush I'm only using for cake design, and I'm going to texture it. Now we'll take my chestnut gum paste. I will knead it very well too. Once it's well kneaded, I'm going to roll a very nice and smooth ball again, just as we just did with the beige. And again, I am going to flatten it, and with my fingers, I am going to make my circle grow a little. I want to be able to cover my half sphere of styrofoam. I think we are there. I'm going to take again water and brush a little water on my styrofoam bowl, and I am going to press it here and press my brown paste like this, and I am going to push it little by little until it meets the beige paste. I'm almost getting there. Okay, now here I unstick a little here, and I'm going to take a little more water and brush it inside. And now I'm beginning to join the beige paste and the chestnut paste. Now here I am going to smooth a little with the palm of my hand. Okay, when I'm happy with it, I'm going to take a Dresden tool and I want to make some cracks from the bottom to the top, to halfway the top, okay? Like one like this. Okay, can begin right in the beige and just take it here to not too high, but here. Want to make here a second one a little smaller. Okay. If you have ever hunt a boletus, this is exactly what I remember of a boletus. This texture, a little crackled, a little wrinkled. I love it. Now what I will want to do is take a big bowl tool, because I want to prepare the base where the head of Countess Shroom will be. So I've placed it in the palm of my hand to avoid any finger marks. And I'm just going to push a little the paste around here, because here will go the head. And we're going to begin with the part underneath the cap. Okay, I just want to give it very, very, very subtle shades of yellow. I will do the same with green. Again, clean very well here. And again, very subtle shades of green. I'm going to take the other brush. I will go for brown just in the middle where the head will be. Here, I want to darken here. Like so. I'm going for brown a little also on the edges. And I'm going to go for the darker brown and again go right here in the middle. Okay, this is what I'm aiming at. And I'm going to take Countess Shroom. I am going to cut the skewer. Okay, we'll just leave a part. And now it's the magic time where I'm going to attach the cap. I want to press with the palm of my hand and go very cautiously. And there we go. So now I'm going to take back my powders. I'm not going to use the yellow and the green, okay, but I'm going to use the browns. And I want to go from dark to clear, okay? So I'm going to dust all around here in a motion circle and almost don't dust the sides. Okay, I'm just going to go with a small brush. I'm just going to darken a little the cracks. Okay. And we are finished with Countess Shroom. Let's get to Countess Shroom. For Countess Shroom's cap, the very first thing I want to do is knead a little white gum paste and roll it into a thin layer. And then I'll just forget about it here. I will also use 15 grams of terracotta paste. This is red with a little yellow and a little brown. And around 8 grams of beige. I am going to begin to knead the beige. roll it into a nice ball, and with my rolling pin I'm going to flatten it. Now with my Dresden tool I'm going to indent from the center to the sides. And I think we're good. So now I'm going to take a 6 centimeters cutter and I'm just going to cut here around. I want something a little clean for this one. Now I'm going to need my terracotta paste, like so. I'm going to roll it into a nice ball, like so, and I'm going to flatten. Just going to take the rolling pin for this one. Okay, I want it quite round this time. Okay, I need it just a little bigger than the other one. I am just going to brush a little water, not even everywhere. Okay, attach this here, and I am going to fold the red paste above the beige. If the indentations are not strong enough, you can indent a little more. And here I'm back. I've prepared a paper towel with a little chocolate brown and a little nutkin brown. So I'm just going to begin with the brown. I'm going to begin to dust in the center. Okay, I want the center to be darker. And I'm going to go also on the edges, but much lighter than in the center. Okay, like so. I'm going to take a little nutkin brown, a little darker, and I'll go again in the center. Okay, I want this center to be quite dark, because this is where the head will be. And I can take a smaller brush and go a little, not much, and not in all of them, in the indentations we made. And there we go, I'm quite happy with this. And I'm going to take Countess Shroom. Okay, here she is. I'm going to cut the skewer. Okay, I am going to brush a little water here, but not much. Really, I don't need it. And I am going to place my cap on it. And the idea is to shape it a little to give the look of a hat. Okay, so I will press it around so that I create the top part of a hat, like this. And there we go. I'm just going to allow a little to dry before I will dust and do the rest. I am back. I have allowed Countess Shroom's cap to dry a little and to harden. Okay, now I can dust it. So I prepared the dusts I had earlier, and I added a little ruby red and even a bit of yellow. Okay, I'm going to begin to take some ruby red. As usual, always clean very well your brush before using it, and I am going to dust here from the center to the edges. it adds a lot of complexity to your design. Things get really more interesting. It's not evident to the eye, but it really adds something. Okay, I'm done with the red. I'm going to take a little yellow with the same brush. I'm going to dust the edges. Again, this is very subtle. Okay, I don't know if you can appreciate it on camera, but I do have a nice gradient from orange to reds here. Okay, it's not only plain terracotta, now it has depth. Now I'm going to go for the browns. I'm going to go darker from the center to lighter on the edges. So I'm going to take brown and go first here in the middle with a lighter brown, the chocolate brown. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go with a nut cream brown, a darker brown, and I'm going to go right in the center. Okay, there it is. We have finished dusting our cap. And now it's time to use this white base we left aside. So we allowed it to dry a little, and I'm going to tear it into little pieces. Okay, I don't want anything clean, I don't want anything regular. I just want pieces. Okay, and now we are going to paste a few of those on our cap. And I'm just going to paste some random bits here and there. I'm going to use this. It will help me a lot. Here one. Don't put too much. You don't need too much. You don't need a lot. There we go. So press them just a little to make sure they are stuck. And I'm just going to take back the brush that I used to dust. Okay, there's a little dust remaining on it, so I'm just going to brush it on those white dots because I don't want them too white. And there we are, we have finished Countess Shroom, and she looks really unamused, just like we wanted to. And here we are to the most exciting and rewarding bit of our episode, putting everything together. So we'll take a spatula and my icing, and I'm going to ice my cupcakes. And there we go. And I'm going to place Count and Countess Shroom on the cupcake. Okay. So I'm going to prick it right in the middle and press it a little on my icing. Okay, there we have one. And then we have the second one. And now we are going to place our autumn leaves around our cupcakes. And there we go, we are finished with our cupcakes. What do you think? So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that Count and Countess Shrooms helped inspiring your future sugar creations. Don't forget to share with me your mushrooms on my social media. I will be delighted to discover them and I will surely repost them. For the record, credit where credit is due. Count and Countess Shroom are inspired by Hans Geffel's funny mushroom postcards. This one in particular. This German artist's imagination is really worth googling. And I know some of you already did because I saw some pieces he inspired on competition tables. Before we say goodbye, I wanted to thank my wonderful sponsor Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka for the love and the support. Don't miss Cupcake the web show next Monday on Cupcake for yet another crazy cupcake project. Bye bye everybody! If you're still hungry for cupcakes, head to my blog Cupcake l'addition with 2ds.fr. It's in French but you'll be just fine, it has a translate feature. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Bye bye!